Today, we have to talk about a true economic crisis. And this is something that honestly, nobody's really talking about. And this is why I bring this up, because this is coming. Now, I've talked about this a little bit in the past. I talked about this just the other day. I want to really reiterate this. What we are seeing and the changes that we are going to experience. Here's what I can tell you. We are not immune to problems. Here in the United States, we have a lot of problems, but some of these problems get buried in the mainstream media. For instance, I was talking about weather, and a lot of people think weather, is that really an economic crisis? And it is. Just listen to this, okay? I want to read you this comment and then we will get right to it. This person says, and I quote, "It's about time somebody talks about this. This is a true economic crisis that nobody has even mentioned yet. This is why I love your channel. You always give great updates. Please continue to give more updates on the impact of heat and how it affects our economy." Now, did you know that excessive heat, or in times of excessive heat, our economy struggles? Most people would assume that in times of excessive heat, the majority of people are just going to stay inside. Well, that's part of the struggle. Because what happens if we all just stay inside? Well, we did that. They called it a pandemic. We all stayed inside, and what happened? The economy shut down. Businesses closed. People stopped making money. It was a major disaster. Now, according to researchers, they say when we experience excessive heat, laborers work less hours, which takes a toll on the economy. We also see people stay indoors more often, which means retail takes a hit, as well as restaurants and service businesses, and all these people stop getting paid. They go on and say the truth is that we're all worried about, many problems here in the US. And these problems don't ever stop. For example, certain problems today, we have a debt ceiling crisis that we either have to breach the debt ceiling, which would be detrimental to the United States, or we have to default on our debts, which means we don't make payments on time. Both are detrimental to the United States. That's one problem. Another problem is making sure the US doesn't end up in a recession, because now experts are telling us even a very mild recession, a short-term recession, would still mean a loss of hundreds of thousands of US jobs. Currently, we have over 11 million positions open. And now we could potentially see even more jobs. This isn't going to be great news. They say the problems don't stop there. We even have to worry about interest rates. Hopefully they don't keep going up. The expectation is that the Federal Reserve is going to pause on interest rate hikes, but they just want to say they're going to skip a month and not do a rate hike, but at the same time, they do not want to call it a pause. They are worried about inflation. Is inflation going to continue to come down? If it does, by how much? And if it doesn't, why not? But what nobody's really talking about is how much heat impacts our economy. Again, heat or excessive heat will impact whether or not the United States goes into a recession or not. It will impact interest rates. It will also impact inflation. And again, all these things are extremely important. Heat is not really going to impact the debt ceiling because the debt ceiling has to be agreed upon and negotiated before we even get into June. If it's not, it's going to be a major problem. Now, this is not even really mentioning wildfires or power outages due to excessive heat. Think about wildfires for a second. Okay, and now I want to show you a chart in just a minute, because in this chart that I'm going to show you, the interesting part about this is that this is going to show us what the seasonal temperature outlook is supposed to be. Okay? But think about wildfires for a second, because we have already seen more than 1,800 square miles of land burned in Canada. Just for me, here in the Pacific Northwest, we're already seeing moderate air quality. Where in the summer of 2022, we had many weeks where it was just extremely unsafe air quality, where we couldn't even go outside. I would have to change the filter in my AC. Okay, in the HVAC system. Might have to change that filter probably every week or every 2 weeks because it was so bad. Yeah, that was really happening. But this is all part of the problem, okay? We are on the verge of a recession. And technically, I guess we'd be in a recession, but the U.S. government changed the definition of a recession. So we're not. But according to multiple researchers, they found that economic loss in times of extreme heat usually amount to about 1.5% of GDP per capita. This is for wealthier regions. Okay? For lower income regions, they are saying that we suffer about a 6.7% loss in GDP. Yeah. That's pretty massive. So if you think we are already getting close to a recession, excessive heat is only going to make things worse. Now, when you start to think of, all these different problems that could arise because of heat, do you think of consumer spending in retail stores? Because most people do. And I bring this up because I was just talking to somebody just the other day. We were talking about heat. We were talking about what it does to our, bodies, what it does to our mind, what it does to our, we feel fatigued, right? Well, then he brought up, when we have excessive heat, and right now in Washington State, we're, I think yesterday was like upper 80s or mid 80s or something like that. It was hot. And talking to him, and he was saying he just didn't even want to go outside. He was just going to stay home. He wasn't going to go. Normally, every Thursday he goes to a restaurant with a bunch of friends. He didn't do that. Normally, every Thursday he likes to get ready because he mows his lawn. Usually Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening. He didn't do that. He wants to wait. But he's not going to do it Friday because it's going to be too hot today. He's not going to do it Saturday. Probably not going to do it Sunday. He'll wait till next week, hopefully when the weather kind of cools off. That puts him like 4 or 5 days behind. So all these things happen. But again, this is just a small portion. When you factor in what does the heat do to our crops, that's a major loss. How much does heat impact our crops? Here in Washington State, we do a lot of apples. We do a lot of cherries, especially in like the central part of the state. They do a lot of fruit. Last year was a horrible year. I talked to a bunch of friends and a bunch of people I know, and they were saying that last year cherry season was awful. And again, it brings in a lot of revenue to the state. But look at this. I want to show you this chart. Let me shrink that really quick, give you a better idea of what it's looking like. There you go. Okay, well, let me move that around. Anyway, so this is the chart, okay? Look at that. That's the seasonal temperature outlook. This is for June, July, and August of 2023, and this was issued just yesterday. Look at that. So this is the equal chances. This means that temperature is probably going to stay about the same. Not going to be above average, not going to be below average. It's just going to be average, or the chances are pretty equal. There's no place in the United States that is going to be below normal, okay? But you look down here, okay? Down here was this Arizona, New Mexico. You look over here, it's like, okay, it's going to be above average. This is probably 60 to 70% is my guess. There's 60 to 70% chance that the temperatures will be above normal. Then you get over here, and obviously all throughout the south, all throughout the east coast over here, this is looking at 50 to 60%. And then you look over here where, again, Pacific Northwest over here. Then, again, all throughout that, you're looking at 40 to 50% chance of temperatures being above normal. And then, obviously, the southern part of California, up here in the northern part, west part of the United States, a little bit through the Midwest, you're looking at 33 to 40% chance, probability that we are going to see above normal temperatures. Again, this means it's going to be hot. Simple. It's going to be hot. So I'm not here to tell you that, hey, get ready, go get your tan on. I'm saying we are going to see a little bit of an issue. And some are saying this is an economic crisis, because if we see it hotter than normal after we just had an incredible winter where we refilled a lot of the reservoirs, okay, where we had a substantial amount of snow, this was good. The problem now is, are we going to see this pretty much dwindle and go away simply because it's going to be so hot? Well, we're going to find out. But I just wanted to fill you in on what's going on right now, because honestly, nobody's telling you what is coming. I've been looking all over YouTube, looking all over different news stations, news websites. Nobody's really talking about the heat and what this is potentially going to do to us here in the U.S. Now, the only one that really is, and again, not as far as the economic impact, but I got this article from Axios. Hot summer ahead for much of the U.S. You can go read it. Go to Axios.com. You can see it, and they just talk about all this stuff, okay? But doesn't really talk about the true economic impact of the heat. So let me know down in the comment section below. Are you ready, or have you yet to be prepared? And you don't have a AC unit. You don't have water stocked up just in case you can't get it. You don't have a additional fan. Because here's something that happened last year here in the Pacific Northwest. I bought an air conditioner unit, little portable window unit. Just bought one just because I think they're good to have just in case the AC were to go out or whatever, right? Guess what? It didn't go out. But that AC unit that I purchased it in the beginning of the spring. I purchased it for, I believe, $198, $97, somewhere right around there. Okay, I held on to that thing in the summer. That exact same air conditioner unit was being sold on Amazon. I believe it was close to like $400 or $500. Sold it locally for, I think, $380 or something like that. Okay, $390. Almost made, and again, great deal, but almost made about $200 on that. Simply because I didn't need it, but somebody else did. There was none in the stores, so I sold the one that I had. It's something that you can do. It's a little way to make some extra money, but just in case, just understand, if we don't see excessive heat, you buy a brand new air conditioner unit and you don't sell it, well, technically just a loss, or you just keep it for yourself. So that's what I did. That's something that maybe you can do as well. But again, just be ready, because this could be a true economic crisis.